Hmm. All right. So we come back to still here, the space we come home to when life itself has been loud, the word has been too much, and we just need to breathe, just to be, and just to feel. I'm your host again, Annie Wali, and today I'm not alone. I'm joined here with the most amazing friend of mine, Miss Dumisani Moyo. Someone whose journey has been full of layers, as every one of us. Great grace, growth, someone who has shown up not only for others, but also is learning to show up for himself in deeper ways. So I'll let him introduce himself and yeah, stay tuned.
My name is Dumisani Moyo. Uh, I don't know if there's any other ways that to be able to describe myself, to be honest. The If I was allowed to describe myself, I think I would just say um, a sinner saved by grace and someone who's still just trying to learn how to how to be better
Yeah,
every day. I think that's the best way. If I was to describe myself, other people have said other things about me.
yeah,
But I think for me, I think honestly, that's all I'd be able to say.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's amazing. I like the part that you said saved. Yeah, yeah,
And remember, that's saved by grace, yeah, because
yeah,
because if it was just up to me,
yeah.
I'd be gone long time ago, long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, to be very honest. So yeah, no, it's that answer doesn't just come from just because it's a cliche to be able to say,
Yeah.
but I really do think that's how I view myself, if I can put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And I'm really glad that like you put it in that way, like you received. I think it's a high time in this generation and also looking at the world as it is right now that we recognize, we feel, and we try to walk towards being saved,
Mm,
uh, walk towards God's ways. Yeah,
too
so
true, too
uh,
true.
I'm happy and I'm glad that it's that way for you.
And I hope it stays that way.
It will. It will. But Demi, if I had to ask you that, if you had to describe where you are,
Mm,
like in your becoming journey
mm,
right now, let's say emotionally,
mm.
spiritually, or mentally, how would you begin? And how does that look like?
Okay. Like you had said in your introduction, I think it's been so many layers, yeah.
Yeah.
If I was to talk about spiritually,
Yeah.
actually no, let's start mentally.
Yeah.
Mentally, I can start from mentally because
Sure.
that's like logic.
Yeah.
So mentally, I I'm in a space now that um I've come from a space where I think there was a lot of fog, not really clear about where I would go and which direction necessarily.
Yeah.
And you know how like you're in the middle of speaking to someone
Yeah.
and then an intrusive thought will come in and
Yeah.
you're completely knocked off.
Mm.
A lot of that was happening the past maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
It's hard space. But now I think I'm coming to a place where now thinking more clearly. So mentally, definitely in a better space because and when I say that mentally, it's also from with a lot of help as well
Yeah.
because I have gone for like talking to like therapists and people who you specifically professionals,
Yeah.
not just therapists, just people who call themselves therapists,
Therapist. Yeah.
but actual professionals who said no, let's take all the tanglement that's going on in your mind
Yeah.
and let's maybe like stretch it out and organize it into like which is basically what therapy is. It's not a weak thing.
No.
No. At least I believe so. It's just basically taking the same thoughts that you have and now organizing them to say, okay, this is this.
Yeah.
And I believe that's where I am now mentally. Emotionally, I don't know. Emotionally, I'm still figuring things out, you know. Because there's been parts of me that have been broken down, emotionally especially. Um, but now much better because of the spiritual part now, which is gets to the spiritual part now. There was a time I think for a while I had kind of, without really knowing it, walked away from God step by step, little bit by little bit, and then you look behind and you realize, oh wow, I never thought I'd find myself in this place,
Yeah.
you know. So coming from a space like that, but then still God is restoring me, not even just restoring me, but making me better than what I was before. I believe so. But spiritually in a place where I can say I am getting better, but even while I'm getting better, I can still see faults in me that I go like, yeah, you need to do a lot more. You need to do a lot more study of the
Yeah.
Word of God. You need to do a lot more praying. Were you really giving it all your best when you were praying that time? What, 5 minutes? That's all you can. But it's not about the length of time.
Yeah,
It's
of course.
about that conversation with God. I think I
Yeah.
would say,
And the sincerity and yeah.
yeah, the sincerity and also, how can I put it? The thought that God is still my friend.
Yeah.
That God still loves me despite those flaws. Instead of trying to go like, I need to make myself perfect before I can go to God, but
Yeah.
going like, despite all my flaws, God
Yeah.
still loves me.
Yeah. Here I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
The broken version of myself. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is not an easy, I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but that's not an easy place to be in. Um, especially to anyone really. But then when you're speaking of God, he already knows all that stuff.
Yeah.
But he still wants you to come forward with it and be able to say, no, this is me, broken as I am. But God can use broken people.
He does.
He does. Actually, I
Yeah.
think that's the only kind of people he uses is broken people.
Yes.
Not the ones who think they're fixed, but the ones who admit and say, listen, all I have is broken pieces. Will you take me if you will have me?
Yeah.
And he'll always say yes.
He always does. He
Yeah.
always does.
Mm.
And that's the beautiful part of it. Even though no matter how broken you say, no matter how messy you are, or the dark side of yourself, like
Mm.
okay, you've done things or you've stepped away from God, like even in the Bible said, no matter how even your sins look like
Yeah.
yeah
Red as scarlet.
red, but he would turn all that into white as snow.
Mm.
And that's the beautiful side of it. Try to do things in our way is yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and we end up maybe not only maybe, but we end up in wrong paths or
Yeah.
path we're not supposed to be in. So um when we realize that and it's time to come as we are, to say, okay, God, this is me, um, and try to turn back, walk back to His path. Okay.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing that you said. We know that there's God's way,
Yeah.
and then we also think maybe if I tried it my way, maybe things will turn out the way I want, which I think is more of a space that I'm in now, is to say, you know what, God, whichever way you're going to do it, let it be done your way. Let me, please, when I want to try and do it my own way, please let me know that no, let's not go this way. let's go the right way, because
Yeah.
when sometimes what we end up doing is we try to do things our own way,
Yeah.
and that's where we lose ourselves,
Yeah.
only to realize that when we are in Christ, that is when we can truly be ourselves.
Yeah.
That's what true freedom is. At least that's what I believe true freedom is. When we're doing the will of God,
Yeah.
His way,
Yeah.
you find out that you have the most fulfillment in that.
Yeah.
Mm.
But also to add on that, I think as people, uh, we want to do things in our own way, and then there is God's way. But we look at, okay, maybe God's way, it doesn't look like very good or rosy at first, or we look at, okay, what I want, this is my way, this is what I want, this is how I want to go about it, not knowing that at the end of the road, it's not what you really need. Yeah.
Okay, that's a very
Yeah.
interesting point that you say there about need,
Yeah.
because there's what you want and then there's what you need.
Yeah.
A lot of the time we don't know what we need. We know what we want,
Mm.
but let's be honest. God's path is not always the way that we want.
No.
It's far from it.
Yeah.
Um, I'll give an example from the Bible.
Mm.
The disciples, when they walked with Jesus, they expected Jesus to be, when they were talking about the Messiah, they knew he was the Messiah, but the Messiah that they wanted was the one who would come through and destroy the Romans and, come through with an army
Mm.
and topple the government. But then he kept trying to tell them, no, I am here to save the lost. I am here to give my life for the sheep. He was definitely, no man spoke like him. And yet they were like, but is this the one we're looking for, or are we waiting for another one, because of the way they had wanted the promise to come about? Only it turns out that what God has in store was to save all of humanity and all of us, not just one one society. And so it turns out the same in our own lives as well, where we often think maybe this is what God had promised me, and you try to do it. I've tried to do it my way.
Yeah.
Turns out no, God has His way of doing it.
Yeah.
It just is not the most. It's not. It doesn't have all the fame and
Mhm.
all the nice things attached to it.
An easy
Yeah, or
way.
easy way.
Mm.
It's got rocks, it's got bumps, it's got the Red Sea in the way, and you're like, but seriously, God, are you sure
Yeah.
this is the direction?
Yeah.
And turns out, if you still stick to the way that God would say, keep doing it, even when you don't understand it, stick with me.
Yeah.
Turns out, He can even raise the dead, something that you thought, well, that's gone, that's done. Find out God will be like, are you still in my way? Are you still doing it according to my will? And you're like, yeah, I am. Then He can even raise the dead. He can even bring things to life that you never thought would come back to life.
Mhm. Um, so you mentioned something about emotionally,
Mm.
the state where you are. You're still figuring some things out, and you're not
Yeah.
really in a good place. So, how do you handle that? How do you navigate that? And how do you get by day by day? I know it can be hard some days,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
how does that look like?
So I won't lie to you that I've learned how to cope with it well. There's some days, I'll give you an example. There was a day I hit my dog in a certain way where I was like, this is not about this. I'm angry because of something else, but I'm taking
Yeah,
it out on the dog.
yeah.
Like that's not the way you're supposed to do it.
Mm.
But I'm gonna be honest with you, that was something that I did. Or there's other days where I wake up and I'm in a mood, yeah, where you're just like, anyone who comes about, they're just like, did I do something wrong? When they've done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
It's just me. But I think the last year has been much better, and I'll tell you why. What has helped is not thinking about it as an entire day, but as you know how you have moments where you say, "Oh, okay, something has wrecked, something has come through and made you mad or has upset you," and then that's like the rest of the day should be horrible because of
Yes.
that. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't mean that you're going to have a horrible day, or I don't even say to myself, ah, this is just going to be a horrible day. The day is not over.
Yeah.
It can still turn around. And so just as much as something can make you get angry quickly, it's okay to pick out the positive thing in it. At least for me, what's helped is pick out the positive.
Yeah.
Even if you can't see a positive, still praise God for something that has happened
Yeah.
within the day, or also look at how easy it is to look at a child and be able to go like, or even just look outside, or be able to just listen and hear the birds and be able to go like, you know what, there's still something good. So for me, what has helped is being able to step back. If it needs for me to walk away from a situation so that I can cool off, then let that be the case. I would rather do that.
Yeah.
But what helps me a lot more is to be able to go like, it doesn't mean that the day is horrible. It just means that you've had a bad moment.
Yeah.
And the next moment be able to hand it over to God to be able to go like, no, you know what? If I have this ugly face on, or if I have this bad mood towards everyone else, it won't give a good picture. So
Yeah.
please take it and help it to be that it can be something good. If I need to hide out for a bit, then help me find a place to hide.
Yeah.
And that works sometimes too. That works as well. But for me, it's really that. It's just been a moment by moment thing, emotionally anyway. Someone once told me, "Oh no, you know what? Go take a shower. You'll feel better." It helps sometimes, but sometimes there's no water. We live in we live in a very we live in a very confused country.
Yeah.
But what's always available is prayer. What's always available is praise.
Yeah.
What's always available is being able to say, "No, let's see if there's like something good in the midst of all of this," and take it as a challenge to be able to go like, okay, look for the good thing. And it's helped me. It doesn't mean I still don't get mad or I don't know what I'm feeling, because there's certain moments where I don't know what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
But at least to be able to go like, okay, if you're, it's okay to feel like maybe right now is not a good moment.
Yeah.
It's normal. It's human.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be human. That has helped a lot as well, to be able to know that, you know what, you're not a robot, you're not AI, you're not a cyborg, you're human. It's okay to be able to feel these things, even as a man. Even as a man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I admire how you took it and how you handled that, because on my end, I remember how I process how what I was going through
Yeah.
at the time, and I remember the most vulnerable time. Of course, it's not that I'm at a great place to say, okay, I'm stable, everything is fine with
Yeah.
me mentally,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm also navigating through things.
We all are, yeah.
Yeah, trying to learn more about myself, or even trying to heal from childhood traumas,
Yeah.
art traumas, and all that. But emotionally speaking, how I handle that,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I admire how you did it. Because me, how I cope,
Mm-hmm.
I remember it was last year. Yeah, I was going through heartbreak,
Mm.
work-wise, and also I was going through heartbreak, like personally. My relationship just ended,
Okay.
and it was really a tough time. Honestly, I was really shattered,
Mm.
But and then I think what helped me cope is I just buried myself now in work.
Yeah,
I became a
yeah,
workaholic.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was work all day, most nights. So it
Mm-hmm.
was just maybe trying to not think about it
Mm,
or just pushing it aside until I was like, one day I broke down and I was like, I really need help.
yeah.
Yeah, I really need help. I don't know what I'm doing, where I'm going. I don't recognize this vision of myself. I
Yeah.
was really at the darkest point in my life because it's like, okay, I'm dealing with heartbreaks. With the relationship that I was in.
Mm,
And also I was going through some other things with work and also dealing with other things with family. So
yeah.
it just crowded everything else. And yeah, but luckily I found my therapist who got me through all that, I think.
So how?
Yeah.
So okay. I've because of what you said, it reminded me of I told you how I had walked away from God. One of the things that
Yeah.
really did help was I actually had to make the decision to get rebaptized
Yeah.
because I had found myself like what you were talking about, where everything is basically falling apart.
Yeah.
And but then one of the places I knew I could always go back to was to God.
God, yeah.
And yeah, I was basically in like what you were talking about, where you say everything is like, so you try to bury it at first,
Yeah.
and then you realize no matter how hard you try to bury it, it will come out in
It's
some way.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
For me, it was beating the dog. And
Yeah.
poor dog. But then now the dog is fine now. But then that only happened once. But then, and I've never hit anyone or like done that to someone. But what started coming into mind was, I got scared. I said, what if this, what if I ended up doing this to someone or even to myself? So then I was like, this is not a good thing. But then being able to, I haven't sorted out everything like you were saying. But for you, where are you now? Because like you were saying that not everything is sorted.
Yeah.
It's still going through it. Your therapist helped you like walk through it. But how have you dealt with it on like the emotional side? Because like broken relationship, tried to bury it and work, that didn't kind of work. What actually, how have you been able to do, what's helped you?
What I have learned growing up is okay, whenever you face challenge or difficulties or anything, we run to God.
Mm,
So in a space where at the darkest point in my life, like the whole world is just dark for me and
yeah,
everything else is crumbling down at me. So I've tried my way to say okay, but it didn't help. Then I realized no, I think where do I run to? I mean, it's only God.
yeah,
Yeah, so at that point, I started now reading the Bible every day, trying to do Bible studies or trying to pray often. And surprisingly, not even surprising, but it gave me hope
okay.
and faith. It strengthened my faith. It gave me back my peppers. Like I'm still trying to find my spark back,
Okay, still trying to find
but
the spark, but the
yeah,
purpose
yeah,
is,
it's there. And I was like, I had I had a reason to leave because at that
yeah,
point I was like,
yeah,
okay, I think maybe let me just disappear on this app
yeah,
because I got
okay.
it was a lot.
Mm,
It was a lot. It was more than just heartbreaks or family issues or
mm.
business. Yeah, so
So if you don't mind me asking,
yeah,
you know that there's those moments where everything that could go wrong
does go wrong.
goes completely wrong. Like,
Yeah,
um, in that kind of scenario, because like I like the way that you've said it, to say that, because what I hear you saying is that you can lose your purpose, or you can kind of like not see where the purpose is anymore,
Yeah.
and feel like you want to disappear.
Yeah.
Do those thoughts still come, or or is it something that you have to fight off, or is it something that you've now, because your purpose is there now,
Yeah.
are you now able to go like, oh yeah, no, that feeling isn't there anymore? Or does it come and you've learned how to fight it off, if I can call it that? Or do you just bury it still?
No, that thought, it does come like
Okay.
when life gets hard with the ice. At this point, I think like it looks like a huge mountain in front of me, and I have nowhere else to go or
Yeah.
what to do or see any kind of way through it.
Mm,
It does sometimes, but I think the difference now is I'm like, okay, I know what comforts me. I know that God is with me in
mm,
every situation that I'm going through.
mm,
I know He's walking with me, and that alone, that thought,
mm.
it comforts me. It makes me um, fight the battles like with all the faith.
Yeah.
Like you have God's strength to
Mm,
face through to, oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna walk through this. I'm
mm,
gonna find a way through this mountain. I'm gonna fight off this gorilla, not with
mm-hmm.
my strength,
No.
but God's strength, because I know He is with me and He will help me through it.
So
So yeah,
I like the way that you said it. Not that the gorilla is gone, or that the mountain disappears, or
yeah,
that the battle suddenly stops or
yeah,
is like removed, but that you're able to get through the battle,
yeah,
or that you're able to fight the battle. Not that the battle stopped or disappeared. It's still a fight, but now we have someone who is more than able to actually help us through.
yeah,
Um, Someone once made me, I think one of the things that's helped a lot definitely is prayer.
yeah,
Um, you know how like a lot of the time, okay, I've heard a lot of people say, when I've said, okay, let's pray about a situation, or at least when I used to say that a lot more than I do now, because I think people look at you strange when you say, let's pray about something.
mm,
But then the reason why I think prayer is so powerful is because you're going to the creator, the one who can say things and it happens.
yeah,
Someone who said in a dark place, who said, let there be
right,
light, and there was light. And if he can just say those words and it's there, what more when you say, okay, Lord, I need you to step into the situation. If he says, I am with you, which actually is one of the verses that I really love, is Isaiah 41 verse 10. It's a verse that I've held on to for quite a while now. Isaiah 41 verse 10, which basically says, fear not, or don't be dismayed, don't be disappointed. I am your God. I will uphold you. I will strengthen you. I will uphold you with my right hand, or with my hand of righteousness. That's not just comforting words. It's comforting, yes, but it's coming from someone who does not lie.
yeah,
And since it's someone who cannot lie, you can hold on to that. You can take that to the bank and you can be able to say, no, but he said he's here. And not only it's not just words to me anymore. I've seen him do it. Um, and to be honest with you, that's how I've been able to get through, especially like the hard days when you're like, you know how like there's been people who tell you things like, well, maybe not when they were saying it, they didn't mean it from like, you are the problem. They were just pointing out things that you had done wrong, maybe,
yeah,
you know? Um, but then there's voices, yeah, that will tell you, no, you are the problem. Um, and it's funny, you'll usually remember the negatives more than you remember the positives. Someone will
correct,
say to you, oh no, you're smart, you're intelligent, you have these things, you have these qualities. But if someone comes to you and tells you, no, what practical example oh, you're slow, because that was something I was told when I was young. Oh, you're slow. You don't hear things properly, that kind of thing. And then you remember those. But then remember, God is still telling you that, no, what I have said you are, that's reality. That's who you actually are. That helps me because, like, sure, people can say what they think you are. Even I can think of who I think I am, but then God puts his value on me in that he says, you're not just, you're worth dying for.
Of course.
So that helps me through even the days where someone goes like, even when I get things wrong, and I hate getting things wrong,
I
but
know.
but then we all do. We all get things wrong. So
It's called being human.
it is called being human. It's also, however, people can call you names for it, you know. People can call you things for getting things wrong or not knowing how to do things the
Mm.
right way. But when you realize and when you've learned that no, it's okay, or if you have enough people who can tell you it's okay that you are human, it's okay that you are still learning. And I believe God is the best teacher of all because no matter how many times we show that we haven't learned the lesson, he keeps teaching. He keeps going like, it's okay. Get back up. Let's go. It's not easy to give the same grace towards others, but he teaches us how to do it step by step, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, with what you said, have you had a moment like lately
Mm.
where you thought, I don't know, I don't know how I'm doing this, but I'm still here.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? That's very recent actually. You remember earlier on I said that, there's certain days where you don't know what you're feeling.
Mm.
I remember this was maybe 2 days ago or so. I had a financial problem that I was like, if I don't come up with money now, I'm gonna be in trouble. And I started thinking to myself, but how did I even get here? And now all the thoughts are going through my head, like, okay, how did I even get here? Why did I even do this? And I woke up that morning, those kinds of times when you sleep, but even when you wake up, you still feel like I didn't sleep. My mind was still going.
Mm.
So I woke up and I literally didn't want to get out of bed because I didn't know what I was gonna do. Um, Phone is ringing and I already know this is someone who I can't give them the answers. I don't know what to say anymore. At the same time, there's emotionally I'm just a wreck because I'm just like, okay, I don't even know where my emotions are. I'm in a state where my relationships are just like I'm not okay. And remember, this is all I'm still in bed, still the first moments of the day. And I'm like, do I really need to get out of bed? Can't I just stay here? And yet I know I'm supposed to get out of bed. I can't just stay here. I can't just shut the world out, which I wanted to do. I wanted to escape. I wanted to just stay there. That's all. I literally had no idea what I was going to do. What helped in that moment? And remember, this is not like, I'm not talking about like years ago. I'm talking about like during the Easter weekend somewhere now.
Yeah.
And maybe just before the Easter weekend. So that's like maybe about 5 days ago or so. And I was like, okay. I went to God about it. I said, God, listen, I don't want to do anything. I literally don't want to do anything. Yet at the same time, I know this is not where you want me to be, but I can't lie to you. This is where I am. I don't want to do anything. Someone wants to call me. I don't want to answer. Lord, what do you want? What do you want me to do in this situation? And I remember actually one of the things that helped was I don't remember what verse it was in the Bible exactly, but one of the things that God had me doing during that week was He had me on some program where I had to tell other people about comfort and kindness. No, kindness and compassion. And I was like, God, I don't even feel like being kind to people
Yeah.
today. Why do you want me to talk to other people about it?
Comfort other people whilst you're going
I'm go
through. uh,
Well, I'm going through hell,
yeah.
I'm not all my stuff isn't sorted out. By the way, I still don't know where money is coming from. I don't. And yet I'm being told to tell other people about comfort and kindness or some other radio program or something. I'm not getting paid for it, so I already know that whatever I'm doing over here, I'm not getting paid for it. So, so you see where the problem is. But then at the same time, I realized being able to help others
Yeah.
look at, be able to have their own, maybe just to be able to see comfort and kindness in some way.
Yeah.
Being able to minister towards others helped me to be able to go like, you know what, let me get out of bed today. Let me wake up. Not that I had all the answers myself. I didn't. But being able to help someone else, being able to um, speak and be able to say, you know what, this is how God has helped me get out of bed that day. Did all my problems get sorted out? Are they even sorted out now? No, they're not.
No.
Still in debt. but but in the midst of that, I would say um, that day got by. God was able to take me through 5 minutes. He'll definitely be able to take me through the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
He'll be able to take me through the next 5 minutes. So literally, even in those moments when I say I don't know, I love the fact that I'm able to go to God and say, I don't know. And He has all the answers, but He's not saying you have all the answers now. But He's like, do you trust me to at least be able to get through these moments? And if He can take you through those moments, that day actually, when I went to bed, were all my problems sorted? No. Still, still just as broke as I was at the beginning of the day. But He carried me through the end, up to the end of that day. And actually, the person who the one who I owed the money actually had a very understanding voice about it. Was like, oh, okay, if that's where we are, it's okay. Just make sure that this gets sorted out by then. And I was like,
That was a
that
miracle.
was a miracle,
Yeah.
exactly. And so,
Yeah.
is it a miracle to everyone else? Probably not.
Yeah.
But
To you, it
to me, it
was.
was. And actually,
Yeah, it's
that's
what you needed also. Not what you wanted, but
aha.
what you needed.
And funny enough, it wasn't what I expected either. What I
Yeah.
expected was if God was going to answer me, it was to give me 1 million kwacha into $1 million in my
Mm.
account, sort out everything.
Mm.
That's how the answer should come because that's a miracle.
Because
But
that's what you
because
want.
that's what you want,
Mm.
and that's what you know. But then you realize that maybe the way that God will deal with it is by softening someone else's heart, by delivering more than your expectation. Sometimes even just changing my mindset to say, you know what, it's okay. You're not in the place you want to be, but you're where God wants you to be. Will you at least serve me in the state in which you're in? And for me, nowadays it's become more, yes, I will. Yes, I will. Um, someone actually helped me. Another time when I felt that way, just told me the words, you know what, just show up. Just show up. I mean, sometimes you don't want to go to work that day. Sometimes you don't want to deliver. You just want to exist. But that's the time when God will go like, okay, no, just show up. Just be there. If it's that someone says that, no, I need you to be here to do this, okay, just show up. Sometimes you realize in that space it's not about saving you. In serving others, God is saving you, saving and serving you. by you serving others.
Others, yeah.
That's what I have found. And yeah, I don't have $1 million. I don't. I wish I did. But funny enough, I think God, I'm now in that place where I would say I love the God who has promised more than the promise itself. Because sometimes you're looking at God and saying, you promised this, and you would. But then let's say God doesn't deliver on the promise now. I think I've gotten to a space now where I'm able to say, you know what? I love the God who has promised more than the promise. For let's say, for example, let's say the promise never comes. I would still say, okay, God, but I think you've given me more than what I thought you had promised. Turns out he's probably even delivered the promise way before I even thought that he had. So does it mean that my expectations are not hurt? Yeah, sure they are. But I remember sleeping that day and going like, you know what? God helped me through the day. It's enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, sure. I are there things I wish could have turned out better than they have? Definitely. Have I had bad days? Yes. Are there days where I don't know? Too many. But I also know that God is too kind. He's too compassionate. He's calling the broken to be able to give their reality of how things are and how God has fit into the brokenness. And I'm glad that he still has me here. I don't know fully exactly why. I won't lie. I envy the fact that you said, purpose. Oh yeah, he's giving me back the purpose. I don't know if I know the full purpose yet. I know I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
But I don't know the full purpose yet, which I think is where if someone was to say, oh yeah, can you give me a full 10-year plan? I won't lie to you. I don't know the 10-year plan. I don't know the 10-year plan. I just hope that tomorrow I will surrender to God the same way I surrendered to God today. That's not a very stable place to be, is it?
No, it is actually. It is.
Yeah.
As long as you're serving God, whatever you do, whatever you're going through, putting God first, it's a good place. I think it is.
I think it's an adventure.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as stable as we would. It's deeper than stable. It is foundational, if I can
Yeah.
put it that way.
But it's like you're surrendering to God, and then He takes the route. You're just following Him. So He makes everything stable for you. It won't look stable
No,
to
it
you.
doesn't look stable.
You won't like the route,
Okay, yeah,
but
that's actually a very good point.
yeah, yeah,
But it's the best one.
yeah, very, very, and
So,
it's the one you need to be in.
so is it a stretch to say the best route is not always the favorite route? It may not be your favorite route, it may not even look nice, but it doesn't mean it's not the best.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And I resonate with you a bit. There was a point in my life where I don't know how I'm doing this, but I'm still here.
Still here.
Like
Still going.
a million times, a million episodes,
Yeah.
especially for the last 2, 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and even not long ago, a couple of days ago. But let me start with a while ago, years back then. So when I started Code Explorer, so after a couple of months, first a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
One, one financial struggles. Two, the team that I was with. like everyone was coming at me. Now I'm at a point with my faith then, 3 years ago,
Mm.
I've seen like a major like a major difference. So
Okay.
like, okay, where I was years back then and how I am now and how I handle things now. And if I was back then,
Uh-huh.
would have been different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That,
back then it would have been,
uh,
by now someone would have been hurt by now.
yeah, yeah. But as I was going through that time, running the business and all that,
Yeah.
everyone was just coming after me. I had gone through a scenario where I wasn't imagining,
Yeah,
good,
you
okay, I'll
never thought
be,
you'd ever be there.
yeah, and no one told me, okay, this is how you navigate this. So this is, if this happens, okay, we go by this way.
Yeah.
So all those years, I was just winging it and
Mm.
just getting day by day or month by month. And then when those things were crashing down at me, side, the most scariest part to say,
Mm.
okay, there are things that, okay, in my whole life, I don't want to do this or
Yeah.
step in these places
Yeah.
or find myself in this situation.
Mm.
Now, all my fears were coming at me.
Like now you were in that place where
Yeah,
this is not where I never thought I'd be here, but here
yeah,
I am.
here I am. I don't know what I'm doing. I
Yeah.
don't where I'm going. I mean, what's this?
How did I get here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so at that point, I think Ecclesiastics.
That's a very strange one to go to if you're
Yeah,
in a
I love
situation.
Ecclesiastics,
Okay.
Psalms, Isaiah, and I think something just clicked in me.
Okay.
And I was like, that evening, I had a very deep conversation with God. I was just laying in bed with my
Mm.
work clothes now, my bag, like I just lay there with it. Okay, I think I've been trying. I
Yeah.
really try. One thing about
Yeah.
me, I don't give up
No.
easily.
No. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been trying to do things my way. Like this is how I want things. I'm a planner, like
You,
extremely. I lay out plans. Okay, this is the strategy and all that.
and everything
So
was not going according to plan.
no, not at all. So I think I forgot you in the midst of trying to do what I want to do.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, I did it my way. I tried to handle everything my way.
Okay.
Please, God, give me the wisdom, your knowledge, your understanding, your strength mostly.
Mm.
And from this point on, I surrender it all to you.
Nice.
Code Express, the company, my whole life,
Mm.
personally, my emotional broken self.
Mm.
Here I am to you. Please lead me. And it's always my prayer every day. Lead the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, walk with me. And every situation, projects, and all that, I surrender it all to
Okay,
you.
God.
So I think from that time to the moment, I didn't thought I would get through that situation, honestly.
Yeah, but here you are, yeah?
Yeah, I would put a brief face to my team or
Yeah.
you to say, oh yeah, I got this, yeah, let's do this, or my parents, oh yeah, everything is great.
It's good.
But in the closed doors, I was really breaking
Yeah.
down. Yeah, but I'm really glad I went through that
That's
because
an interesting thing.
because it got me closer to God. It got me to a point to say, okay, my strength, I think it's not enough. I think I should just let God be, let surrender it all to Him to say, I think I can't. Now I've done it my way. Let God take control. And I've seen miracles. around
Yeah.
that. Miracles have been happening.
Like big miracles, or like I guess every miracle is a big miracle when you think about
Yeah,
it, isn't it? If you don't mind me asking, because this is something I struggle with.
yeah.
You talked about trying, and you're trying everything, and you're trying your best, you're trying your hardest. I've struggled in a place where it's like you are trying your best, and yet it doesn't seem like your best is good enough. I don't know if you've ever
Mm-hmm.
been in a situation like that,
Mm-hmm.
but then how have you dealt with that where you know you're trying your best, but for some reason your best just doesn't seem good enough?
I think uh, maybe one thing that happens with that, it's like you're just trying by yourself. One,
Okay.
that to say, okay, just okay, fixing this, trying to do this by yourself,
Mm,
without okay, putting God, like letting God intervene in it, like forwarding Him to say, yeah, I want to do this, I'm doing this, but please lead this. Thankfully,
yeah,
yeah, we just again we go back to doing things our own way,
our
what
way.
we, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one, and two, I think it's like it goes with self-sabotaging due to other results of trauma.
Oh yeah, no, that's also true. Like,
Trauma,
yeah,
yeah, I felt that way before because most of the time I struggle with that also
yeah,
sometimes to say whenever I do things like okay, it's not enough, I have to, I have to achieve a milestone, or whenever I'm doing a project, I have to
it's
finish
not
it,
enough. Yeah,
yeah, in 2 days, and I have to develop the whole huge thing
yeah,
because maybe how I grew up.
yeah.
It relates to sometimes how you grew up,
That's true.
the people around you, maybe as a kid,
Mm.
you,
You need to achieve.
yeah,
If
for,
you don't achieve something,
mm,
you're not value.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
something. Yeah.
your value is attached, or your importance is attached to
Yes, yeah,
what you
that's
do.
yes, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the way to put it.
yeah.
So when what you've looked at and said that it's not enough, um, it reminds me of what you were talking about, where because I've had that struggle where now it's not even just you. If it was just you by yourself, you'd be able to go like, it's okay,
Mm.
I still have time. But now you start thinking, but what about what other people think? What about what other people need? And you start trying to do that. Um, Dealing with that, yeah, handing it over to God, and how you said it, to say, forward it to God, to say,
Mm.
this is the pressure I'm under.
Mm.
Listen, I can't do this all by myself.
Mm.
And I think that's where I've struggled with that, the whole thing of do it by yourself.
Mm.
Because I've been told a couple of times, sort it out yourself. By the time you come back, I want to see that this is done, and you should have sorted it out yourself.
Mm.
Only then to find out that I can't do it by myself. And that's something I think I'm still learning, how to go like, help. like, like, help me though. And I think being able to ask from help from the right people helps a lot as well. Because God will bring the right people into your life as well. Because sometimes it will be miracles. Other times he'll bring miracles through other people.
Mm.
And it's okay to be able to. The problem is, I think I've met bad situations where you ask for help and, oh wow, you've asked the wrong person. And where you go like, I'm never asking for help again, because when you ask for help, this is what happens, when that's not necessarily true. Sometimes when you ask for help, it may not be from the right person, or it could have been the right person, but they had the wrong reaction. But it doesn't mean that asking for help is a bad thing.
Yeah.
So I'm still learning that, to be able to say, Lord, help. And you realize even in the Bible, lots of the people who went through stuff and they forwarded things to God, they went through their story. Hardly do they ever go through it alone. So God brings the right people. For Moses, he had Aaron, he had his, his brother Aaron, he had his wife Zipporah. I think that's her name. Yeah, Zipporah.
Do you think you have the right people around you?
Ah, yes, I do. I know that God has put the right people. I also know that the devil has his people. The devil has his people around me as well. And I usually ask God to say, can you at least help me to know the difference? Because God doesn't look on the outside. We sometimes think that the people who we should have around us are the good-looking people, or other people with degrees, or doctorates. Sorry, degrees are everywhere now.
With
We,
smart people,
yeah,
yeah, with worthy
people who
people,
smell nice
with yeah, worthy people and good-looking, nice bodies and all that.
and all
Yeah.
that. Those are the people who are God's people. It's not necessarily true. God said in his word, I think when he was talking about picking David over his older brothers, he said, no, don't look on the outside. Man looks on the outside, but God looks at the heart. And so since he sees the heart, he can read minds, he can tell what the intentions of people are. Ask him to say, let me have the right kind of people around me. And I've asked that before, and I've seen people who I thought would be around forever disappear.
Mm.
Or people who I thought, oh, these are the people who God has connected me to. Turns out that's not the people. And then there's other people who you want to get rid of and go like, yeah, God, take these people away, Turns out they keep coming back. So I think that God has the right people around me. But the devil also has his people around me. People can say the wrong things. Sometimes it may even be good people saying wrong things. It happened with Jesus and Peter. Peter said, Jesus was saying, "No, I'm about to die. I'm about to give my life." And Peter goes like, "No, no, no, don't do it." And Jesus actually had to say, "But Peter, no." He actually said, "Get behind me, Satan. You don't know the things that God has planned out." Sometimes it's about not just about the people around us, but also making sure that God is still, because even the right people can say the wrong thing. I've been guilty of the same, where I probably disappointed people a lot who thought that you should have known better, except that I failed. So does God have the right people around me? Yeah, the devil also has the right his people around me, the wrong people, but I believe that as long as I stick with God, God will keep the right people, will do the filtering for me. I won't have to be the one who's all, just walls up with everyone. But God will show me where I can put my walls up, and will actually put up my walls faster than I would. Then, so yeah, still get it wrong sometimes though. Do you think God has the right people around you? You think so?
Yeah, I think so. I think God pull the right people around me. Some are right, some yeah.
Has he like filtered out some who you're like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I think a good example, of course, some were friends,
mm,
but on the business side, there was
yeah,
a time that I had I had onboarded another team
mm,
to say, okay, I need to, with what I have, I need to work with these people. So every time I onboard people, like
yeah,
with Codixra, I try to pray about it
yeah,
fast and ask God, okay, these are my vision, this is what I'm trying to work towards to,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and these are my goals, and this is the people that are put in places. Show me if these people are the right people. Please, if they're not, yeah, you do the needful. But yeah, surprisingly, after like a week of praying, okay, these the right people, God. If there are, please let them stick with me. If not, then yeah. 1 week after, there was a whole chaos with my team. There was a whole chaos. Some of the employees, it was resigned. Some
Yeah.
just, yeah. I was like, oh, okay, and yeah. At that point, I think I didn't understand it. Like, okay, what's happening? Why is this happening with the brand and all
Mm,
that? But at the end of the day, after 2 weeks or three, but I realized no, no. I think my prayer, uh, God answered. It was an
mm,
alignment. I
mm,
didn't lose these people around me. Even their friends were childhood friends. We thought even our parents. So, oh no, why now? Don't you get along with this? Oh, you should stick with this person.
mm,
But along the way, we kind of like grew apart.
mm.
So all these friends, all this team, I looked at it as an alignment. It's not really a loss because
It's like,
right now, as we speak,
mm,
as I look at, okay, what I have on the table, professionally speaking, or even personally,
mm,
the stage where I am, and I look at the people that I had,
mm.
I was like, oh no, I think this isn't what I needed
It's
throughout
what you
this.
wanted, yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
but this isn't what I needed. This wouldn't have gone well or end up in the right way, something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
mean, funny enough, when God wants to filter things out, the way he does it, though,
Yeah.
can sometimes be through the fire, yeah? Like, he'll do it through the fire,
Yeah.
and it may not be a comfortable process.
Mm.
Um, or even adding people sometimes also is one of
Yeah.
those things where you're like, but I don't expect it to be this person.
Yeah.
Turns out that's the one. Um, so it's very interesting. But one thing like you had said, I also believe that like God is the one who filters it out, who's the one who goes like puts the shield around you, but also opens up the gates as well. Puts the shield and opens up the gates. As long as he's the one who's in control, he'll keep you safe. But it doesn't mean that chaos won't happen. There will be loss, there'll be gains as well. So, but you can't even lie that it's easy. It's not. It's not easy.
Yeah, true. Um, as much as I think we've talked a lot about our struggles and how we cope up with them, yeah, and how spirituality, God fitting all this,
Yeah.
or most when we're doing business, see our smiles, our work,
Mm.
even our growth. But what are some of the battles you fought that no one clapped for quickly?
So I think okay, the way that you had said it, what came to mind anyway. Okay, there's a thought that comes to my mind anyway. I don't
Mm.
know if this will answer your question, but it's what's come to mind. The everyday struggle. I remember I was talking to a friend of mine who actually said he was having a horrible, I guess it was a horrible week, I guess. But he was like, "Do you know how much of a victory it was for me today just to get." People didn't see it. I went to work. People thought that the guys arrived late, but he's here.
Mm.
But I don't think they realize just how much of a victory it was for me to get out of bed. Just to even be here
Yeah,
is a victory.
yeah,
And they think it's small, but for me it's the biggest thing because this morning I thought I had wished that I had never woken up.
yeah.
So for me, I kind of surround my answer around that to say, if I can give an example of I think what I think I've achieved and no one will ever know
Mm.
or ever clap for the victory. To be honest with you, it may not be the best answer or like the most exaggerated answer, For me, it is literally waking up and deciding to get up, waking up and deciding to be here, to still keep going, to still hold on. Yeah, I think that's the best way I can put it, to say I think the victory that I'm still in the middle of, but that I think no one will ever understand and no one will clap for, but I don't mind, is holding on. Yeah, is holding on. Um, Smiles and bravery and what, and people think that no, this person is fine. I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Like
We're
I'm
not.
not, I'm not
Yeah.
okay. But I think holding on, I don't think that victory will be seen until Christ comes again. I think that's the only time when it will be fully seen that, oh wow, this is a victory. You won a huge victory just by waking up that day or just showing up that day.
Mm.
For me, it's not even like there's a one event. I feel like it's every morning is a victory. I feel like every morning
Yeah.
waking up and going at it is a victory. Knowing that there's temptation out here,
Yeah.
knowing that there's trials out here, knowing that I haven't sorted out everything, knowing that I'll be mocked,
Yeah.
and still being able to get up. No one, you know that no one actually claps hands at the end of the day. Huh? No
No.
one says, "Oh no, you did a great job."
No. No.
Not every day. For those of you who do have such a thing, yeah, you have great blessings. But to be honest, many victories have gone without fanfare and without celebration. So yeah, I think that's where I would put it. Say it's every morning is a victory. Every morning is an unsung victory because a lot of people will never say congratulations you woke up this
No.
morning. No, they just say good morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if it was
It's
to be
just another
honest, it's
day.
just another day.
Yeah.
But to be honest, if it was to be celebrated, people would say congratulations to each other every morning
Yeah.
just for making it out. And I believe for me that's the victory that has been won. Even up till today has been getting up in the morning, and there's been days where I failed to do exactly what I was supposed to do,
Mm.
but God didn't give up on me. So I kept on going. I think that's the victory. This morning and every morning until I get to the goal, whatever that goal may be.
I like that. I like that. Every day it's a victory. Um. Yeah. I think same here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for the last couple of months, honestly speaking, it's been hard. It's like I'm carrying the whole mountain for the whole world. You get? So
Yeah.
especially last weekend, I think
Mm.
the victory that I clapped
Mm.
for, one of them with the battles that I had. Again, I've been just on a roller coaster of emotions, things, getting through things, and everything just built up. And I was just knocking down now. I was just, okay, I think this is it. This is, at this point, I think I'm on edge and I've reached an impasse. I don't know
I don't
even
know.
how to explain the feeling or the
Mm.
point, but I was like, I'm not really sure if I can go on. But in that particular moment, it's when I think it was God reminding me or giving me a little bit of hope to say, I'm right here, right? I'm with you.
Mm.
And yeah, there is the whole Red Sea, but I'll make a way through it. And that was also one thing. And two, that was also the point where this Still Here podcast birth.
Came out of, yeah.
Yeah, the idea to say, okay, I don't think I want anyone to get to that point, or at least get to that point, but
Mm.
know that there is the whole world at the end of it, and there is a light, you find your spark back, and
Mm.
you're not alone. You still be here. Yeah.
So
So
I've
yeah,
heard you mention that spark,
yeah,
and I don't know whether that spark, well for you, do you think that spark will ever come back? Do you think it's actually, do you see that light at the end of the tunnel? Do you see, you know that darkness?
yeah.
Do you know that that light is there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see it, like, you know how you're walking out of a tunnel, like it's all darkness, but at the end of it, you can see the light. I think
Yeah.
that's where I am. Like,
Okay.
okay, I'm beginning to find my spark again.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm beginning to try to feel, to understand myself, try to find myself, trying to believe in myself, feel confident
Mm.
even in myself. I was surprised after that day, smiling. No, all my problems were solved,
No,
and
no,
also
they
the
weren't soft.
inner peace that I
Yeah.
had after that moment, after I prayed, the inner peace, or until now, like okay, every day I'm not really stressed or too worried because I know everything is under control. I'm finding my
Definitely.
spark, yeah.
Yeah.
And we were with everyone listening this. We're not at the point of we figured it out. Oh,
Yeah.
everything is perfect or
Mm.
fine, but we're in the process of, like I always say, becoming.
Mm.
Yeah,
And I think it's okay to not have everything. This is something that I've had to learn.
yeah,
It's okay to be in the middle of growing and being in the middle of becoming.
yeah.
Um, we all want it to seem as if we have everything together.
No, we haven't.
We don't. Even the smartest of us and the people who are all around us, all of us don't have it all together. I know I don't. Um, and it's okay to be in the middle of, growing. Um, to maybe not satisfy everyone all at the same time, but then at least to be able to say, you know what, I I want to know how to grow. I want to know how to walk closer to God. I want to know how. Um, and it's okay to learn. I think to continuously learn to learn and be okay with learning. I think that's something that I found lots of people are more comfortable with you, and you're more comfortable with yourself when you know and you're okay with the fact that you don't know everything. So I don't know. If there was one thing you would want to say out of everything that we've spoken about, one thing that you would want to continue to say to people, what would it be?
Um, I think one thing, it's crazy because the like a lot of things,
Yeah,
a lot of things in my head, and that's why I also thought it wise to say, okay, let's have this space to
to be able to
share.
share it out.
Yeah. But one of the main things I would say to anyone really, it's it's not one word,
Okay.
but when you run out of rope,
Mm-hmm.
grab onto faith.
Okay.
Yeah, when you have run out of rope, grab onto faith. I
Mm.
think that's what I will say. And secondly, it's not gonna be like this for life. There is a whole good things coming. And no, it doesn't look like it when you're in that space. That hope is not there, and that vision to say, okay, it's gonna end. It's
Mm.
not there. But just take it a day at a time. Not even a day at a time. An hour after an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, just hold on. Yeah, hold on with me. Just yeah, be here. Be here. You don't have to be okay. Let me solve this. Kavina, okay. trying to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
No. You're going through depression, heartbreak, um, uh,
Failure.
failure,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, financial crisis,
Mm-hmm.
relationship crisis, emotional crisis,
Mm-hmm.
marriage crisis,
Mm-hmm.
all that. You don't have to, okay, solve it. Try to find a way to move forward. No, when everything is so dark, just be here. Just try to just exist. That after 1 hour and then another hour and then yeah. So just be here. It's okay to just exist. Just be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't have to say anything or do anything. Yeah.
To add on to that, if I may,
Mm.
a lot of us have grown up with the idea that I am equal to what I am able to do. When I fail, that means I have less value. That may not necessarily be completely true. What I would add is to be able to say, and I think someone, and I'll say it again, someone once told me this, was the idea that, you know what, you have value. The fact that you're here, the fact that you're still here, the fact that um that you have survived up till now is not just the fact that you're here, you are valuable. You get what I mean?
Mm.
It's not just what you have that makes you valuable or what you're
Yeah.
able to do that makes you valuable.
Yeah.
You are here. If God didn't want you here, you'd be gone. So here's the thing. The fact that you're here, the fact that you exist, the fact that you are real, which you are, you're here, yes, with all the situations and everything, but the fact that you're here
Mm.
is enough to be able to actually be able to say, no, you know what,
Mm.
it's worth it.
Yeah.
You are worth all of heaven.
Of course.
So in the eyes of God, you're valuable, whether you're able to or whether you're not able to. But you have value even if you can't see it right now. The fact that you're here is proof that heaven has value for you and a purpose. So as long as you're here, there's hope. As long as
Mm.
there's the fact that you're alive,
Yeah.
there's hope. It may mean climbing out of the hole that you're in, but even in the hole, even buried underneath all the dirt,
Yeah.
a diamond is still a diamond.
Yes.
So, and God is the one who places the value on you,
Mm.
not the people saying all the wrong things,
Mm.
but the one who knows exactly who you are. So, don't be deceived. You still have value. I think that's what I'd say.
Interesting. Yeah, I like that. Your importance, your value is not attached to what you do, what you have, or the people around you, or what you've been through,
Mm,
or the people in the relationships, let's say, or what they say.
mm.
No, you alone, just being you, yourself, without anything or
No additives, no.
yes, you are important. You are valuable.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. That's really amazing. I like this. What has healing look like for you?
Healing.
Yeah, the messy, the beautiful, the
Mm,
unexpected. Briefly, what
mm.
has healing look like for you?
So healing for me has looked like a lot of things. If I was to show a picture of my healing, um, it would look like, I don't know if you've ever been to a gym where they have all the weights and stuff like that,
Been there, but not that
but
I
not like you
have.
didn't live through any of this.
No.
No, but you know what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to be a bodybuilder, but this is what I am saying. For me, that's what healing has felt like, and that's what it has looked like. If I was to paint a picture, it has been showing up at the gym even when you don't want to be there, lifting weights, practically and as a picture as well. It's been a discipline. It still is a discipline because it's just about healing for me has been like so I am asthmatic. It's very much like having asthma.
Mm.
Some days it's good to breathe. Some days your breathing is just not good at all.
Yeah.
And it can be seen. But then every full breath you can take, every full breath I can take, I'm grateful for. But then also healing has looked like a gym. Going in, lifting weight. Like Christ said, take up your cross daily and walk with it. It's been ugly. I don't know if you've ever been to the like you've seen how people are at the gym. Their faces don't look pretty and stuff. They're just like lifted, just trying to make sure this thing can get off the ground,
Yeah.
And they don't just do it once. They have to do it tons of times. They're tired, but you're still pushing through.
Do you think you have healed?
Not fully. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I could give like, oh, and he lived happily ever after. No, I'm not fully healed yet. But every stage of healing is complete, if I can put it that way. At every stage, it has been complete. Do I know what healing will look like at the end of the day? Where I would say that now I'm completely healed. I don't think so, because life has damages throughout. But um, easily put, healing has been uh, like a gym.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. If let's say you could go back to your younger self,
Mm-hmm.
maybe the one feeling lost, broken,
Yeah.
or stuck,
Yeah.
what would you whisper to him?
First of all, I'd be freaked out by seeing my younger self, to be quite honest. I'd be freaked
I
out
want
by
to
seeing
ask
my younger self.
why
No,
briefly.
no, but okay. If I was to let me first of all just put down the answer first to
Yeah.
say if I was to speak to my younger self, if I could
Yeah.
whisper something to my younger self, it would
Yeah.
be this. Um, don't walk away from God. If there's one thing that I wish my younger self would know and understand, it would be this: do not walk away from God. And I'll tell you why. Because I know my younger self would ask why. Because who you are is wrapped up in who God is. If you walk away from God, you'll be walking away from who you actually are. So for me, that would be that. And I would whisper that not just once. I would say it a couple of times to be able to say, you have faults, but don't walk away from God. Yeah, that's what I would whisper. I would shout it if I could.
Yeah, so that he
So that
could
he could
understand.
get it,
Yeah, he get
like
it.
you really need to get this, that
Yeah.
it's okay that you have faults,
Yeah.
but don't
Don't walk
walk away
away from
from God.
God.
Don't, because yeah. What would you whisper to your younger self?
I think I would say be yourself.
To
Um,
yourself.
yeah, be yourself. Yeah, speak out more
Mm,
and align your goals with God's God's promises, ways. Yeah, because I'm looking at her talk,
mm.
meeting her honestly, meeting my younger self. We'll just sit on the table, just looking at each other and just crying. All of us just
And just
crying
cry.
all together. Yeah, yeah, just crying.
I don't
Cause
know.
one, she wouldn't recognize me, but I think I would advise her that be yourself.
Be
I think
yourself, speak out.
you're authentic as you are,
Mm,
and align your goals, your plan with God's ways. Yeah.
What do you think she would tell you?
Now,
Yeah,
I think she would give me a hug
yeah.
and say, thank you.
All right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Cause for, I think this will be another episode. We're gonna talk about our HR because why I'm saying thank. It's a journey of becoming. It's a healing journey. It's a journey itself. So we can say, okay, yeah, I'm perfectly fine. I'm good. I'm fully 100% healed. But
Mm.
I think she would say, thank you, and yeah,
So sorry to take you back,
yeah,
but if I could bring up something about what you said about healing, I don't know whether we completely heal, yeah? Like whether we can say that, oh no, like how when you're sick and you're healed, you can go like, ah, now I'm fine. I feel like we, I feel like we get stronger. I think healing is not just about not being sick, especially when it comes to life anyway. Healing is actually not just being better, but it's about being able to be weak, being able to be strong, but being able to hold on to God. I think that's healing. And I think that's a day by day process. It never looks the same for everyone. I think everyone's everyone's view of healing looks a little bit different, but
yeah,
I still think that it doesn't make it invalid when someone looks at you and goes like, "Are you sure you're healed?" You're like, "Yep, this is me healed. I'm all right." But I like the fact that you said your younger self would say to you, "Thank you."
yeah, yeah. Um, I think this was an interesting conversation. Yeah,
I think so.
yeah,
I don't know whether I hope it helps someone to be
yeah,
able to. It's it's going to be okay. I'm not alone.
yeah. And I think if there is like someone listening right now and they're maybe in tears, maybe numb, maybe just tired, exhausted, what's something that you want to tell them from your heart?
I would want to say your tears don't make you weak. Your your loneliness has not does not mean that you are alone. You breaking down doesn't mean that you are broken or that the situation is helpless or there's nothing else to turn to. I would want from my heart and one broken heart to another. I would want to say there is still hope. This moment, I think I'll take something from what you said. It won't be like this forever. Something my mother said to me when I was going through a lot because she's seen me cry. She's one of the few people who has seen me cry. And she said to me, life has a way of turning around. One moment everything can be going well, and then the next moment everything can go wrong. But then at the same time, you don't know what tomorrow can bring. Tomorrow can bring better things. And the same way things can turn around for the worse, if you hold on just for now, you'll find out that next moment, what you thought was the worst situation you've ever been in, later on, if we just get through this point, just get through it, you'll find that your blessing, the best that the best is right in front of you. Just now, this is just a barrier that we can't see through. But just get through this moment. Get through this time. I don't know when it's going to end, but it won't be like this forever. It won't. Trust me. I thought that there was like I was done,
Mm.
only to find out that there's still a purpose.
Yeah.
There's still goals, and there's still value. So if I was to say anything to someone, that's what it would be. At this moment, I don't have all the answers, but there is a God who knows, and He knows you, and He is here. He's still here with you.
Thank you. That was powerful. That was powerful. Something also that I wanted to say, but well, as Jumi has said, hold on. Yeah, hold on. Let's get through this
Mm.
time together. Well, Jumi, thank you not just for being on the podcast, but for being real, for showing up with your whole heart. Yeah. To anyone listening this episode, reminded that healing doesn't have to be perfect. It can't look perfect. And that becoming is not about who claps for you, I believe. It's about who keeps choosing to grow.
Yes, it's okay to feel those, but then don't wallow in it. Don't remember that just because you can't see that God is there, it doesn't mean that He's not there. The reality is that He is still here with you in this moment. He has taken so many of us through it, and He will take you through it as well. If I was to say anything to someone at this moment, it would be that it's okay to not be okay for now, but it won't be like this forever. I think that's where I put it.
I like that. I like that.